So I'm going to call the meeting of BUHS number 6 for June 5th, 2017 to order at 7 p.m. And let's start with the clerk's report and the approval of the minutes. It says on our agenda from the 15th and from the 24th. Did everyone see? I saw the minutes from the 15th. I did not see the minutes of the 24th.
That's the, just the vote on,
Yeah, that was just the vote on that. But the minutes weren't distributed to everybody, I don't think. So I don't think we can
I
approve them.
sent them to somebody.
Yep. And
I think they were included in the WSESU minutes.
Right. But they weren't sent out. So I think we need to just get a motion to approve the minutes of May 15th, and we'll just have to wait on the minutes from the 24th because those haven't been distributed to the whole board yet. Okay? So is there a motion?
so moved.
All right.
Second.
Okay. Any additions, deletions, or corrections to the minutes from May 15th?
Just one small correction.
Yeah.
In the finance, talking about the selling the Whetstone property, and it was listed as Wilson's Wood.
Oh.
Good catch.
Okay,
I read right through that.
meant to check that, sorry.
All right.
No problem.
Jane will make that correction. Anything else? All right. All in favor of approving the minutes as corrected, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions?
Abstain.
And abstaining for absenteeism? Yes?
Yes.
You join here? Yep, okay. All right, any other communications that came before the board? Members, seeing none? Oh, yeah?
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
I presume this belongs under the clerk's report, as I am the clerk. I would like to publicly thank Mrs. Jane Swanson for her years of being our faithful recorder. I'm going to miss her greatly. And Jane, thank you.
Thank you very much, James.
You're welcome.
This is James' last name, so thank you. And we're still on a hunt for a replacement for James, so if anybody knows of anyone, that'd be great. All right. Anything else for clerk's report? Recognition of groups and individual visitors. We don't seem to have any groups here visiting with us this evening. So is there a motion to enter consent agenda?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Seconded, moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so let's start with finance, building, and transportation.
Has not met
Okay,
since our last meeting, but we will be meeting this Thursday morning, the 8th of June at 8 o'clock in the James Kane room at the supervisory unit.
Oh, what day was it? Sorry.
The 8th,
Okay.
Thursday.
yeah, excellent. WSESU finance. Russ is not here. They did meet.
Well, it was just a pre-meeting for the contract.
Yeah, so there was no real official finance meeting, okay. Planning and policy, to my knowledge, has not met. Teacher curriculum committee met earlier this evening. We met just before this meeting from 6 to 7. And we approved 1% funds for the summer, 1% proposals for the summer, and that went very well.
It's the next step.
BAMS committee.
BAMS committee met this morning, and we had a really good meeting. Went over a number of items. Keith brought us up to speed on the change in personnel with Julianne Egan, and maybe he'll speak to that more. I don't want to take your thing away, but and then we had the discussion of the action plan, and the teachers involved with that. So there's a whole, it was good. And then quite a few 1% proposals for the following year. So it was a good meeting. And then we, actually, Keith just informed us of some of the challenges in the middle school, which were very interesting and really well expressed by you. So,
Excellent. WRCC.
Has not met.
You also.
Okay. WSESU Act 46 Study Committee.
That meets tomorrow at 6 o'clock right here.
Yeah. So we haven't met recently, but we're meeting tomorrow. So, and all are welcome to attend. All right. Is there anything else for consent agenda? Seeing nothing else. All in favor of approving consent agenda?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? Okay. Let's move to administrative reports. We start at this end with the Career Center.
All right, thanks, Rick. Good evening, everyone. Tomorrow, WRCC will be hosting a career fair, and we haven't held one in a long time, and there will be 12 local employers, plus Dartmouth Hitchcock will be here, and it will be set up at the TIC building in the foyer, and the employers will be given an overview to our seniors and juniors of their company, and they are looking to hire seniors on the spot tomorrow. So it should be a great experience for our students and staff to hopefully walk away with some jobs, that is the students. Looking forward to that. That's between at 10 to 12 tomorrow. The digital filmmaking class will be premiering all their semester-long projects on June 11th. We're pretty excited about at the Latches Theater at 4 p.m. If anyone is interested in taking a look at their fine work, it'll be a great show.
What is that?
June 11th, it's on a Sunday. And those students involved are Adam Hinckley, Aiden Meyer, Seth Miller, Jonah Siegel, Sam Wright, Cole Madden, Sam Kehoe, Elisa Price, Kehan Miner, Taylor Kelly, Andy Lynn, Colin Costa Walsh, Kyle Murray, Leo Shanks, and Ben Kaufman. So it should be exciting for these students to be able to show their hard work and their very nice projects. So if you get a chance, check it out. This Wednesday night, we'll be having our senior awards night. I invite you all to attend. And that'll be at the BAM's multi-purpose room, beginning at 5 o'clock with the senior awards to follow. And the dinner will be provided by WRCC culinary students. It's always a great dinner and a great turnout. So look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. I want to request 2 board appointees tonight for new staff members. And first I want to highlight the hiring committee for the assistant director and adult ed coordinator position. Those individuals were Ann Freitag, Hinsdale principal, Ann Dorn, our counselor at WRCC, Lyle Holliday, WSESU curriculum coordinator and soon to be superintendent, Alex Beck, he is with Brattleboro Development Credit Corporation. He's a workforce and educational specialist. Ruth Barton, our BUHS board member, and Tom Fagella, our WRCC pre-tech teacher, did a wonderful job assisting. It was a very long day. We interviewed 8 individuals. We had 22 applicants, and I narrowed it down to 8 individuals. After that, I narrowed it down to a second interview process, which included 4 students at the Career Center and from all different programs. And these students, I'll highlight their names in a second, did an amazing job, I have to say, showing the 4 candidates the Career Center on a tour. So those students were Mike Duchesne of Hinsdale, Sarah Gothier of Brattleboro, Cody Hellis of Brattleboro, and Jeremy Lackey of Brattleboro. And they're all in different programs, and I gotta say they were very impressive. And Ruth, after the fact, after they met, they requested to meet with the hiring committee again, and they presented to us a really in-depth evaluation of all the candidates. And Ruth, if you want to
Yeah,
speak to that.
it was very impressive. These students who had met with these candidates and shown them around and spent some time with them and talking with them. Then the students themselves requested to have a meeting with the hiring committee to give us their feedback. And it was really very valuable to get the students' feedback on these people. I would certainly recommend that process for anybody hired.
So I would like to submit Drew McDowell for the new assistant director and adult ed coordinator position. And have your blessings.
Is there a motion?
I move the approval of the hiring of Mr. Drew McDowell for the assistant director in WRCC and adult education coordinator.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? None? Okay. Excellent.
One more individual, our special needs coordinator position. We all know Marty Litch is retiring this year after 10 years. And I would like to submit Jamie Alvarez as a new coordinator. She comes from Bennington Career Center with 3 or 4 years experience as their coordinator. She lives closer to Brattleboro, so we kind of stole her from them. So have your blessing there.
Is there a motion?
I move approval of the hiring of Jamie Alvarez for special needs coordinator for the WRCC.
Second. Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? None? Excellent.
We'll be looking at hiring for our tech math position as well next week. So if any of you could sit on that committee, it'll be July 16th. Be great.
You mean June 16th?
June 16th, yes, thanks.
Yeah.
I could probably do it, Michael.
Okay,
You want to email me the details?
Yep.
Or talk after the meeting?
sure.
Or tell me now?
I'll email you the
Three
details.
choices.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Excellent, thank you. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay,
Thanks.
let's move down to the high school.
Great. First of all, I'd like to recognize junior Jackson Levengood. Jackson traveled to Colchester on May 15th to participate in what's called the Opus 32 concert. And this organization pairs student composers with mentors across the state. And each year they select the strongest works, and those student compositions are performed live by professional musicians. And this year Jackson's string quartet Saturdays in Norwich was chosen to be performed. And I can only imagine being a high school student having professional musicians playing your work is kind of exciting. And so Jackson was very excited, as was Steve Rice, kind of celebrating everything he did. So congratulations to Jackson. We've taken a change in tack with our award ceremonies, and we do arts separately, and we do an art purchase. And this year we did the art purchase from Cappy Frisia Goldberg, and it was a painting of hers. She also does incredible sculpture, and all of her work and other students' work was highlighted. And on May 25th we had an art show, including snacks prepared by our advanced food students, and including all forms of art, everything from video work to sculpture to traditional paintings. And it was a great program. The art teachers did a fantastic job of organizing it and structuring it. And so, kudos to them. Along those same lines, at graduation, we will be having our first BUHS Visual Performing Arts graduate. And it is Ms. Colette Anton. And Colette has worked very hard, and she last Thursday presented her portfolio. It was juried, approved, and so she will be the first official VPA graduate from BUHS. And so we're thrilled for Colette. If you see her, You could certainly ask her about her work. She's very excited to talk about it. And, we have a few more next year, but I want to recognize Colette for being the very first. And we'll also see our first STEM Academy graduates next year as well. We also had our Modern and Classical Language and English Awards. They happened on the 30th, and during that, seniors were recognized for their work. And Peter Canizero, Karen Sebastian, and all the other staff, again, did an incredible job of giving thoughtful discourse about their students. They didn't just say, oh, the award goes to. I mean, they took the time and really thought about what strengths the student had, and what growth the students exhibited during their time with their teachers. So it was kind of neat to see. So a lot of great awards given out to seniors there. The end of year is fast approaching, and I thought it would be helpful if all of you had the end of year schedule so you could make every event that BUHS has, or at least a few of them. It begins this Friday. We do our underclass award ceremony. That will be in the gymnasium. We give out a lot of local awards. We also give out things like the Brown Book Award and other awards from various colleges. Sunday, June 11th, is our baccalaureate, and baccalaureate really is a reflection ceremony. And we have faculty speakers, we have student speakers, student performers, and that really has become a way for students to kind of share thoughts about their time here at BUHS, share a performance piece that they want everybody to hear one last time. And it really is a special occasion. And Kate Burt and Carrie Bentley are our senior advisors this year. They've done a phenomenal job of organizing this event. Final exams, last day of classes is Wednesday. Final exams are Wednesday through Friday, and that's a little strange because we're doing some of our senior exams early on Wednesday, then we're doing exams on Thursday, and then some more underclass exams are on Friday. And so we've kind of figured out a way, because of the additional snow days we had this year, that we're going to still get everything through before graduation. Thursday, senior awards night, 7 o'clock in the auditorium. And I know some of you will be there at various capacities to present awards. Thank you in advance. And it's very compelling to see all of the institutions and organizations in the community and across the state, everybody from the Boston Red Sox to the Guilford Grange, supporting our graduates. And whether it's just recognition or it's recognition with a financial component, our graduates do appreciate that. Friday, there's a thing going on at 6:30 on Natowich Field. The weather forecast is 70 and sunny. It's going to stay that way, we hope, and hopefully we can see you there. Seniors arrive at 5:45, 6:30 the graduation ceremony starts, and it's always a wonderful celebration. This year's senior class, Ryan Taggart is delivering the valedictory address, and Jack Spannerman will be giving the class speech. And I've seen previews of both of them. They're great. They're wonderful. A nice mix of some humor along with some real well thought out emotion. So
Who's the salutatorian?
the salutatorian is Jacob Canizero. So finally, I have a couple of appointments to ask you for, not to go to. First of all, I would like to recommend the hiring of Miss Elise or Elizabeth Wadsworth for the choral position, vacated by the resignation of Patty Meyer. Elise comes to us from Onondaga High School. We had an incredible hiring experience with the chorus candidates. We had 3 finalists that all taught sample lessons that were great. All 3 of them were fantastic. Keith sat in on those as well, and all 3 of them showed great rapport with students, great knowledge of pedagogy and how to teach in music, and some of them just had really good singing voices and piano skills. But we are asking that Elise be hired as the BUHS BAM's choral teacher beginning next year.
Is there a motion?
I move approval of the hiring of Elise Wadsworth as choral teacher.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions?
And one of the other candidates was actually hired by Academy for their music position. So that was good too. So it worked out really well for everybody. We've been looking for a math teacher for a little while. Ruth now has served gamely on 2 committees. We went through one round, lost some really good candidates, watched some candidates teach, didn't really think anything there was a good match for BUHS, so we kind of went out and advertised again. And we had some excellent candidates the second round, and so
We did.
we were really pleased. So first, I would ask the board to support the selection of Miss Jennifer McKay for one of the math positions, the one vacated by Kevin O'Donnell. Jennifer actually comes to us from Keene. She got her bachelor's and master's from Keene State College. She's currently teaching at Fall Mountain. She's been there for several years, and she's looking to move to BUHS. And I would ask that the board hire Ms. Jennifer McKay.
I move we appoint Jennifer McKay to the math position.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? Okay.
Okay, and as long as we're talking about math, you recall last meeting Tara Cloutier has resigned her position. I'm recommending the selection of Mr. Ryan Connors to fill that position. Ryan actually hails from Pennsylvania. He's currently in Telluride, Colorado, and he's looking to move back east. He's got an interesting history. Before he was a teacher, he was a market analyst, so he comes to us with some real-world skills. You know, I didn't watch the first Skype interview, but he did a Skype interview with the students, and he actually did a nice job talking to them about how he would teach stuff, what he would do, and Ryan impressed the committee and the students, so I would ask that we appoint Ryan Connors for the other open math position.
Is there a motion?
I move the hiring of Ryan Connors for a math position.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded.
I have a question.
Yes.
You may have said, and I apologize if I didn't hear you say it, what brings him back east or brings him east?
You know, he is, Ruth, maybe you can speak to him more. He's looking to come back east. He's been out in Colorado for several years. And, you know, he talked about wanting to find, I assume Telluride's very expensive to live in. And so he's looking to kind of reduce that cost as well. So he's looking to come back east. But I think family's here. I think there's a lot of things. I think one of the things we have that Pennsylvania doesn't are big mountains. Yeah.
And I think he likes mountains.
Yeah, he likes mountains. He's a big snowboarder. I'm not gonna hold that against him being a skier, but, you know, he comes to us with that background, so. Okay.
Okay. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? All right. Excellent.
Okay. Last, I have a request from Assistant Principal Chris Day. Mr. Day is requesting to take an unpaid leave beginning on September 30th, 2017 until October 1st, 2019. He's asking for a 2-year leave, obviously unpaid. And he has an opportunity to do some logistics work with the National Guard on a national level to kind of work on some big changes they're doing in terms of how they move troops and equipment around the country and around the world. You know, he's been, as you know, he's been in the Army, he's been a guardsman for many years, and so he's asking us for a 2-year leave, at which time he would return. And once we approve, I can talk about the hiring process, if we approve.
Is there a motion?
I move to approve the leave of absence for Chris Day for 2 years.
Is there a
Second.
Moved and seconded. All right. Is there a question?
So thank you for clarifying that it would be an unpaid leave if it's approved. What about, I'm just not clear what the status would be of other benefits made available to an employee when they're on leave.
He would be suspended.
Okay, so it's
So
basically
you think-
holding the position available for the person upon their return, but
Right.
there's no financial cost to the district. Thank you.
Any other questions about the motion? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? Do you have another question?
I didn't realize that we were voting because I thought that Mr. Perrin was going to talk about, before we voted on the motion, what the next step would be,
Sure. Do you want me to do that before we can?
well, it seems like it just passed.
Yeah, we have to approve it before he can put in place any sort of plan for the replacement of Chris for the 2 years. All right, so would you like to explain to us what your plan is?
Sure. So a 2-year position provides some interesting logistics, because if you have somebody who's coming to move to an area, it's hard to say to them, you're here for 2 years, but then you're gonna leave. It is a way for somebody to get some experience. It's a way for somebody to kind of learn how a high school functions, and with an understanding that within WSESU, which frankly is a desirable district to work in, that opportunities could come up at the end of that 2 years within the district. With that in mind, we're choosing to first do an internal posting rather than do an external posting. I think that offers us, and it also offers other schools some flexibility in terms of, I don't anticipate, it's kind of like when you buy a house, you mostly when you buy your house, your sale is contingent on the sale of your old house. And I think this is similar, where somebody would accept this position contingent on knowing that after 2 years they could go back to another position. I think that would be desirable for somebody. And frankly, a person that somebody would want to have come back is a more desirable candidate for me, because it means they're doing a good job and somebody wants them back.
Just to clarify, when you say internal, it's the whole supervisory union?
Yes, yeah, internal as in WSESU, right, not just BUHS. That brings up the issue, being somebody that hires people, that we would be forcing somebody else into a late hiring, but I think that's okay at this point as well. So what I'd like to do is start with an internal posting and then see what kind of develops from that. If we need to go further, we would. But I think it's probably easier for me to have a conversation with another principal in the district about a leave than it would be to call up somebody from, Colchester Elementary School that I've never met. So that's my motivation to kind of start with this kind of search first. So.
Would it be a possibility that somebody would do an internship, an administrative internship? I know that at some of the other schools, there's been people that have been interested in pursuing a certain career track, and then they take on an internship to really shadow sort of the...
Speak to that. I think we have a number of people in the district that are in leadership programs, finishing them, that have done their internships. So to ask them to do another one, I think would be unrealistic. I mean, you'd be paid as the assistant principal for those 2 years. You could call it an internship, but you'd still have to pay. You couldn't do it as a strict internship.
What would be the worst case scenario if you didn't find a viable candidate for that 2-year interim? I mean, would that just be something that other current staff members could, maybe not easily, but would just have to absorb? I mean, what would it do to the students, to the current administrators and staff?
It would create an incredible hardship. I mean,
Okay.
we're already, we're still learning, we reduced the administrative position this year, and we're kind of still sorting through the effects of that and figuring how that works. Keith kind of laughed because we were all helping out at BAMS today, which is okay, it's what we do. I would not want to leave us that short on the administrative team. This person would oversee some new staff, some staff we've just approved, and I want to make sure they could be a presence in their classroom. I'd want to make sure they could kind of be an educational leader. And given what we're doing with proficiency, given the changes, I would not want to forego that position. That would be really hard. And then I would like to have this person join us and, be here for 2 years and kind of move things along.
And would be saying to that person, you're coming to the SU for 2 years with the idea that there probably would be some openings throughout the whole district in 2 years. So if they do a great job, they're likely to
Stay with us.
Yeah.
Great job in that position.
And it's, we've talked about it throughout the year. We've talked about it for several years. I mean, I'm an example of it. Maybe I'm not a good example, but we breed teacher leaders within the district, and this is an opportunity to do that, to kind of, help develop the next generation of educational leaders in WSESU. So. I think that's a good thing to do.
Anything else?
That's it.
Okay.
I think that's enough.
Everybody's good? All right, so let's move down to BAMS.
I thought my time was up.
You can have as much as you would like.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'll start with some past events. A few weeks ago, we had the Pops concert, and that was the last concert of the year, and it was a really great afternoon and evening. The students performed for our students and staff during the day, and then later on had the concert that evening, and it was really nice, and it's a great team effort. And then the marching band participated in the Stroll in the Heifers on Saturday, and both I saw the high school band as well as the middle school, and did a nice job. And a lot of other students and staff participating in the parade, so it was really nice. The kneecap and SBAC testing is pretty much done. That was a big relief. And I wanted to thank our counselors, Paula Starkweather and Tracy Jacobs, and Assistant Principal Tom Doughton, because they did a tremendous amount of work preparing, getting all of a lot of the details done. In particular, the science kneecap was, there's experiments, and teachers did a great job as well, experiments, and it's very regimented on how you do it, how you mail it, box it. And they really did a nice job. We're hoping that the science kneecaps are done, but I haven't had any confirmation with that. Hopefully they're shifting into something a little more current. But as you probably have heard, the kneecap is a pencil and paper test with the test booklets and the answer keys, and it's old school at this point. Our students had the dress-up dance a few weeks ago in the gym, actually, and the student leadership puts that on. Caitlin Campbell and Gabriella Raccio, and then all of the students, and it was really well done. They went all out to get the place decorated really nice, and the kids showed up really well dressed, and it's really well attended. I don't know what percentage of our kids attend, but much higher than any other dance for the year. There's a handful of kids that don't make it, but the majority of kids make it, and it's really great. And they were well behaved, no issues, fun evening. Last week, Team Taurus finished what we call passage presentations, which is part of the move to student-centered approach, student-centered learning, and putting the students at the center of their learning. And the passage presentations are kind of an idea, a spin-off of a student-led conference, but at the end of 8th grade. We bring in their families, and we schedule a time with them and their teachers, and the student presents to their families a lot of their work during their middle school time, in particular this year, and then they show their PLP, or they create some type of presentation, they practice it, and they're focusing on transferable skills, which you've heard a lot about, and so they're showing off their PLP and their evidence, reflecting on the evidence of how they've acquired or shown proficiency in transferable skills. So certainly kudos to the Taurus teachers, all the advisors on Team Taurus and teachers, and the students and families for coming. I haven't heard final tallies because they were just finishing them the 3 primary days they set up for last week. So I'll have to get some follow-up on the rate of participation, but I would say it was pretty high. Moving on to future events coming up, most of the teams are doing some type of field trip in the next week and a half. The Peak program's going to Northampton tomorrow with the 8th grade. Team Canis went to Essex Friday, and they go to I think it's called Fire and Ice. I can't remember the name, but it's a ropes course kind of place up there. A really well developed program, and heard they had just a fantastic time. I'm going with Team Taurus to Boston on Thursday, and several groups are doing a tour of Fenway, so I'm excited. My group is doing that. I'm excited. I've never done that in my years. So the cool thing with that trip that Taurus does is they all go to Boston. They get paired in a couple teachers with 8 or 10 kids, And then they get like a certain amount of money that they fundraised per student, and then they have all these choices of what they can do. So as a small group, they can go to the Freedom Trail, they can go to the New England Aquarium, they can tour the business district, whatever they want. And they've created a bunch of options for kids over the years. So it's a really, that's an enjoyable trip. Team Leo, they're doing a trip to the Vernon pool coming up. And that's a current seventh grade team, so they don't do a huge trip. And Draco, they're doing their huge trip in the fall. They're going to the Cape for 3 days. I'm gonna go with that team to that trip, so that would be fun. And their philosophy around that is, let's take our kind of 8th grade trip in the fall, we build off the relationships that we create in that 3-day trip. And that carries between students to students and students to staff. Those relationships that are built during those 3 days can hopefully carry them throughout the year. I imagine they'll do something smaller at the end of 8th grade. So that's a cool concept. Student leadership's also putting on a variety show on June 9th. During the day, and they're going to shoot for an evening event for the first time. And so if you're around, the variety show is fun. Students will do a performance during the day, the afternoon, and they're actually, I was nervous last year when they did it, and it came out, it was really, really good. So, looking forward to that.
What day is that again?
Excuse me?
What day is that?
That's Friday, June 9th. June 9th, yes.
Okay.
And then, just closing calendar things, the 14th is the move-up ceremony for 8th grade. Yeah, 6 p.m. in the gym, high school gym. And we use a little after party in the band's gym. And the 19th is the last student day. It's a half day. We'll do field day for our students that day. And the 20th and 21st are teacher and service days. So things are wrapping up. And I'd like to thank Steve and the hiring committee for hiring Elise Wadsworth. We're excited about her, and glad to have her aboard. That's it for me. Any questions?
I guess it's my night for questions.
That's okay. Ask away.
I'm actually fielding them from everyone else.
Yes.
Just curious, very interested in the different trips that the different teams take, and what's the process of deciding on the trips? I know some of them must be tradition, because I know when my daughter was a Team Canis student, she went to the Fire and Ice, if that's what it's called, but the ropes course up north, and then the Boston trip, and then there's a pool trip, and then a 3-day trip to the Cape. Seems like they're quite divergent, so I just wondered what was the process with respect to where they go, what they do. Is it?
There's not really a process.
Is it tradition? Is that
A
something
little
that
bit.
they
I
do?
mean, Draco's, that's a new idea. Well, they did a fall trip this last year too, 2 years ago. Each team has been a little bit different. I went on the tourist trip 2 years ago. So tourist does a trip every other year with the 8th grade. So each team's done something different. Depends a little bit on how much they fundraise. So each team gets a certain amount of money from the budget, but it's not much. And they have to fundraise the rest of it.
That makes sense.
So for the teachers, once they get a trip that's established, that works for them, that they know they can plan, they know what to plan for, they know how much it's going to cost, I think it works for them to stay with something that they like. So there's enough things for me to worry about. I haven't tried to go in and create a process for something
No, I just
that...
wondered if there was a process or
Yeah.
tradition, but the fundraising aspect makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Ron, do you have any potential office, other than what's coming up?
Yeah, I just want to report that since your, the SU board meeting of May 24th, where the contract for the teachers and support staff was ratified by the boards, the teachers and support staff have ratified each contract last Wednesday and Thursday. So we're really pleased that we have 3-year contracts in place for both groups. going forward. I appreciate the board's participation in that process.
Thank you to the negotiating committee too, that's great to see it. 2 3-year contracts.
It is.
Could you elaborate a little bit about the healthcare as opposed, or as presented by the governor and how that would, what would happen there?
Well, any agreement that's signed before July 1st this year stays in force. So the fact that we have a 3-year agreement, we heard a lot of stuff about statewide negotiations. We heard a lot about a revision to that would cost our district $540,000 this next year, with the sentiment that, you know, the administrators will be able to figure it out, make up the difference. And we were saying, yeah, we would have to cut staff to make up the difference. There's no way to get around that. So I think we're really fortunate to be one of the few districts in the state that has ratified contracts, and the fact that they're a 3-year contract, I think, protects not only the district, but the teachers, whatever stuff is going to be happening. This health benefit saves a lot of money for the district. It also is cost effective to the employee. It saves them money as well. So it's a really good plan. And,
Sounds like a win-win.
yeah, it really was, and it was complicated. Frank Rucker deserves a lot of credit for, we met, you know, a lot of times just to kind of go over all the details within the health benefit, and it's very complex. And he did a great job getting information along the way that other districts didn't really have at that time. So,
It almost seems like it takes away the unknown of what would happen if it wasn't put in place prior to June 30th, so now everybody knows and can relax with what has been decided.
And the fact that there was a threat of costing the district over $500,000, I mean, it's like, well, they were crazy. So, I'm not referring to anybody. So it is, it's very, I'm glad that we're able to do that.
Excellent, thank you.
And then when we get to the food service, I'll jump in on that.
Yep, do that, definitely. So, under administrative reports for myself, I just wanted to acknowledge that this is Ron's last meeting with us.
No way.
Yeah.
What about the
So,
meeting in 2 weeks?
I think I'll be in Guilford.
And typically, we don't do a second meeting in June because of graduations and everything else. So this is our only meeting in June typically. So this is our last meeting with Ron.
That's amazing.
So,
Me too.
let's go. So I just wanted to officially, again, thank Ron for all of his years of service to the district, to us here at BUHS 6, and BAMS and the Career Center and everybody here. It's been remarkable, and thank you.
Well, thank you, Ricky, and again, as you said during the annual meeting in February, such kind words, and I really mean this, that this board has been one of the most well-functioning boards that the district has had during my 15 years in this district, and it's a credit to you people. So I've been really proud to serve for you, and we've got some great administrators, and we've got a great person coming in, Lyle Holiday, so I feel really good about that. So I'll check this off my checklist, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you again. All right, so let's keep moving with our agenda, moving to unfinished business. We don't have anything listed. Does anybody have anything that's unfinished business for us for tonight? Okay, seeing none, let's move to new business.
I'll just make a point that I will need a brief executive session
Yep.
at the end of this for personnel.
Yes. Under new business, our first thing is food service contract, because we're in the 5th year of a 5-year contract, so we need to do some action tonight. So
Yeah,
Ron?
so this is kind of a pro forma. This is the contract that is supported by the USDA that we need to sign every year. You will be opening up a bid next year for food service, as you've done in the past. So this just completes the 5th year of that contract. Just a couple of highlights. in terms of the food service projected income versus costs. Total cost of 45,000, no, I'm sorry, 456,753, a little bit more than that. Total income is 458,392. So you have a surplus of $1,600, and that's what we expect. Many districts have had to subsidize their food service program. We have not had to do that, which is great. And from what I hear of from the principals, the food service does a great job, and kids seem to enjoy it, and it's a good program. So we feel good about the financial part of it, and as always, each year, again, it's the USDA that analyzes our numbers, and they're recommending a full price school lunch for students would be $2.75. For adults, it would be $3.75. I think that's a 50-cent increase. And breakfast would be a full breakfast at $1.60, and adults at $2.50. So that's kind of a standard increment for the program. We have a large number of students that are part of the free and reduced program. It would be nice, although your numbers are probably not high enough, what we're able to do in Brattleboro town with universal breakfast and lunch, all students eat free. But the only way you can do that without subsidizing it is having enough students on free and reduced lunches. And we found that in some of the other districts, we're not able to do that without a pretty good subsidy, and it's just cost prohibitive for those districts. I would say one of the benefits of a unified district, a merged district, we would get the benefit of those averages, free and reduced averages, and it would be likely that all schools would have a universal breakfast and lunch program, free lunch and breakfast for all students, which would be amazing. So that's one of the things I think about in terms of, you know, a concrete benefit to a school merger program or a school merged district. But anyway, I would ask for authorization for the administration to sign this 5-year contract, if anybody wants to see it.
The name of the organization again, just so we have it on.
It's Cafe Services.
Cafe Services. Is there a motion?
I move approval of the year 5 of the 5-year contract with Cafe Services for food service.
Second.
And seconded, is there any questions?
Well, I did just have what you described in terms of making it universal throughout a district, if it was unified, is that falling under federal guidelines?
Yes.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's what they call certification, student certification. They qualify those students that are, you know, it's a poverty indicator.
Which you can't do necessarily with having a separate district.
In small districts, you'll never get to that number. Yeah, it's when, like Brattleboro Town can do it, they have high poverty rates, but they have enough students to generate that income. It's really generating income from the federal government to support food service.
So that's the revenue side.
Yes, it is. And Guilford is close, Putney's close, but it's still gonna cause a subsidy of over $50,000. And in a small
Which
school
has to
district-
be put in by the district.
by the district, yeah. And for a small district, it's hard to do that. When we look at combining numbers, those certification numbers, it's pretty clear that all district, as a unified district, you should qualify.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? So all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? None? Okay, excellent, thank you. Next thing on our agenda is summer schedule and figuring out the summer schedule. So everybody take a look at your calendars real quick. What typically, like I said a few minutes ago, this is our only meeting in June. In July, we also typically only have one meeting because one ends up falling somewhere around the 4th, but we stick with the 1st and the 3rd Monday. So I would propose that our only meeting in July would be on the 17th, and that would be a little bit of a longer meeting and a little bit more of a kind of a planning session for the following year. If that You won't be here, okay? So we can look at, is that whole week out for you, or?
It's gonna be really tough to schedule anything for me the middle to end of July. Do we ever do the longer meeting in August, the planning meeting?
We could do a planning meeting in August. Typically in August, unless there's a need from the administration, we tend to not do a first meeting. If I remember correctly, please correct me if I'm wrong. And we only do the third Monday of August. So that would be the 21st of August. And then we just we get sort of an update before school. Now, we could do something earlier in August as sort of our planning session meeting and do 2 meetings in August and still keep our July 17th, do something on August 7th as a longer planning night, looking at goals and things like that. And then on the 21st, just have a more standard meeting and get an update on the start of school and what that's looking like.
We have in the past done the planning in August, and I think part of it is in the administrative plan.
Right.
We've reviewed
Yep.
that, and it's a little, is that all in place yet, or is that happening?
It will be by then.
By,
We're doing it with department heads at the end of June at the high school.
yeah. So July would be kind of tight for us to have the benefit of that in our discussions, but August wouldn't be.
August wouldn't be tight at all. I mean, and the other thing, in August, hopefully we'd have a new assistant principal on board. Maybe a new principal. Ron, what are you doing next year?
After the other night, it might be
Hey, good idea.
You gonna demote yourself?
When they hired me, they wanted to do that.
Hey, wait, 2 years.
Oh, no, you'd be a better principal. I said, no, you hired me as a superintendent.
What about a 2-year assistant
What about a 2-year
principal?
assistant principal?
Yeah, but maybe you'd like to be an assistant principal.
You left really hard and really fast at that. Yes, Lori?
I have a proposal.
Yeah.
Okay, would it be really irregular to have 0 meetings in the month of July and 2 meetings in the month of August?
I'm sorry.
Have
0
no meetings in
July.
July and 2 in August, she says.
Wait, it's-
Well, if you allow the subcommittees to have the authority to,
Which is, next thing's on our
Next
agenda,
agenda.
yeah. So committees would be meeting over the course of the summer anyway,
because I have to hire an
presumably.
English teacher.
Yes, we have to hire some folks and do some of those things. How about this, to take, unless somebody has a different idea, speak up. But what if we left the 17th open as a potential meeting if needed in July? August 7th, we do our goal-setting planning meeting for the year, so it'll be a longer meeting on Monday, August 7th. And then August 21st, we have just a regular meeting. So we may or may not have a meeting in July based on the need. And then we do an August 7th, longer meeting, and then the 21st be a more standard meeting, and we'll get updates on the school year and all that kind of prep for the school year and things like that. Does that seem to work for people? You
Are we
know,
gonna be doing food at the planning session?
at the planning session on the 7th, yes, we will do food. Yep. Is that everybody good with that as a plan?
I'll be out that July meeting.
Works for me.
But it'll just be, it might not happen anyway, depending if it's needed. All right, so that's our plan then. So we won't meet in July unless needed, and then the subcommittees will meet if need, the committees will meet if needed, as needed. And then August 7th, we'll have our annual meeting, planning session time, and then on the August 21st, we'll have a regular meeting. So we'll do 2 meetings in August, and we'll keep July 17th as a potential meeting site if needed. That work for everybody?
Sounds great.
Yes.
All right.
I will not
Be at the July 7th.
be able to attend the July 17th. I could Skype.
We'll see what we need for a quorum, and maybe we'll need to do that. We'll see. All right, but that's our plan for summer schedule then? Is that administration, everybody good with that? Excellent. Okay, so moving on to under new business, next thing is we need a motion to authorize the teacher curriculum committee to make hiring decisions during the summer months.
So
This-
moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
Moved and seconded. Although this is pretty standard stuff for us, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? Okay. And then the next thing is we need to authorize the finance committee to approve warrants during the summer's months. Is there a
Mr.
motion?
Chairman, I move we authorize the finance committee to approve warrants during the summer months.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? No. Number E, authorization of BAM's committee to conduct financial and personnel matters during the summer months.
Mr. Chairman, I move we authorize the BAM's committee to conduct financial and personnel matters during the summer months.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ian can have it, okay. Thanks, Bob. All right, all in favor? Opposed or abstentions?
Ooh,
We have, I thought, it wasn't on the list, but I thought in past years, didn't we do something similar that we just did with BAMs for WRCC? Is that something that you would project that we would need to do? Okay, so F under our agenda, I'll just put authorize the WRCC committee to conduct financial and personnel matters during summer months. Is there a motion?
I move we authorize the WRCC committee to conduct personnel and financial matters during the summer months.
Is there a
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? Okay, excellent. All right, is there anything else to come under new business? Yes?
this is not under new business. I apologize. I was just putting the August 21st meeting in my calendar, and I guess I'll be taking my student to college on August 21st. So I won't be at that meeting either, but I could Skype.
Well, and that would, and then the August meetings, we just kind of go back to our typical typical monthly schedule of first and third Mondays of the month, so.
Is that the 21st?
Yeah, the 21st was the third Monday of the month anyway, so. We just plan to keep it that way for now and see what happens. All right. Okay. All right. Is there anything else to come under new business? Okay. Remember, we do have to go into an executive session, so is there a motion to enter executive session for a personnel matter?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded.
And there'll be no action taken.
No action taken, okay.
For the-
So, Jane, if you want to go ahead, and BCTV, if you guys want to go ahead and wrap up, and we can, we'll just put we'll put our adjourn time, we'll just add that to the minutes once we get them. Okay. So one of the board will move into the end.
We'll go there.
Yes.
Did you vote?
Oh, yes, no, we did not. We need to, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstentions? Okay, so, and do you need any other administrators?
No.
Okay.